Okay, today we're going to be installing door sill protectors. Today we're doing it on a Ram 1500, but this works for all of our door sill protectors. When you receive the package in the mail, they're going to be rolled up. Go ahead and take them out of the package and unroll them. It's okay that they're still rolled up a little bit because once you take the backing paper off, that's the backing paper that's actually rolled, so it won't affect anything. Suggest using a window, something flat. Use a card, credit card, anything like that out of your wallet will work. And just run it over a few times. This ensures two things. One, that there's no bubbles on your transfer paper. And two, it flattens it out a little bit. Make it a little easier to install. Go ahead and work out any little bubbles that might be on there. And you are all set to go. Put this in your pocket, you're going to need it in a few minutes again. Alright, let's go down to where we're actually going to be working. Alright, now it's very important that where you're going to be putting the door sill protector, you want to make sure it's extremely clean. So I suggest taking any rag, microfiber, clean one, using some isopropyl alcohol or any wax and grease remover, anything like that, that will just completely get rid of anything that might be on there to keep the door sill protector from sticking. So just wipe this, get it really good. Even go past where you think you're going to put it, just to be safe. Just do the whole area really good. Let that dry, wipe it again, make sure there's nothing left. Okay. Now that your door sill is ready, let's get the door sill protector ready. Okay, so at this point, we have the door sill all clean, ready to go. And now we're gonna get the protector, door sill protector, ready to go. I know we did it a few minutes ago, but I always do it again right before I install, just in case. Especially with these ones that have a little more intricate design. This helps the transfer. This helps the transfer tape stick to the design so that it all comes up and you're able to put it on instead of staying on the backing paper. So the windows of these trucks work great for this because they're large. Just go over it a few times, especially over these areas where there's small details. You want all that to pick up. So you don't gotta press real hard, just okay. As you grab this corner up from the clear, it'll start pulling the door sill protector with it. Again, I like to use these windows a lot. Just pull it down slowly, making sure that all the details stay on the clear transfer tape side. You don't want anything left on the white. If you do, it's not the end of the world. You just go back a little bit and work slowly until it comes off. If that happens, then I'll show you exactly what to do. And this is a little more intricate one, so it's probably gonna, unless I get really lucky today. Yep, see right there. Sometimes the paper gets stuck, that's the opposite way. And all you do is just keep going, you can come back and get that. It comes off, and you're done with this. Now be careful that this does not stick and touch to itself, because then you are game over. Alright, let me go grab something to pick that off, and give me 2 seconds. Okay, when something like that happens, you can take even something like a little nail and this will work. Normally I have like a pick or tweezers or something like that, but even a little nail will work. All you do is come in here And just kind of scrape it along the white a little bit. And it will pull the white backing paper up just enough. Then you grab it. Then you grab it. There you go. Alright, now let's get to installing. Okay, so at this point, you line up the bottom of the door sill protector along the bottom of the door where you would like it, and then you lay it in place. You slowly just start pressing it on the flat area. Don't get into the curve yet. You know, make sure there's no bubbles in it. Take your card. Working it, making sure no bubbles. You don't want this to touch the paint yet until you're ready to stick it. So hold it with one hand while you press down with the other. Okay, now we're into the first curve. You just take your card and start in the middle and slowly go around the bend. There's no race, there's no rush to get this done, so make sure you take your time. Because if you have to look at this every time you get in your vehicle and you're like, oh, I'm so mad I would have taken an extra 5 minutes, because you'll see a bubble or something, it'll bother you. And you just keep going back and forth, working nice and slow. You just keep working back and forth like this. When you get to the next curve, you take your card, and you take it and you kind of like roll it up the corner a little bit like this. And that makes sure it pushes any air out of that corner. But again, you do small little sections at a time, working your way back and forth, just to make sure you get everything. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see on the camera or not, but you can actually see the card curving up the bend right there, which is a good thing. Oh, got too ambitious there. And now is the time to go back and forth over it like this while this transfer tape is on here. Because once you take it off, then you're just rubbing back and forth on your sill protector, and you don't want to do that. At least not until it's put in use with your feet. And then same thing with these curves, just work it up slowly. You want to go evenly back and forth. You don't want to go all the way up one side and then try and work down, because the way the door sill protector is, it just material, it just won't work that way. So you have to make sure you're doing it evenly back and forth. That's why you have to do with such small increments at a time, to make sure that you get it laid on as uniformly as possible. And now that we're just about past this final curve on the home stretch, alright, now we're past that final curve, you can kind of use your hands and like slowly push it down a little more. Now what's happening down here is I just on purpose a little bit to show what would happen. I went a little too far down, and this end right here is actually into the curve. This is right here starting to actually curve up from here. And it's not the end of the world. You just got to pull in the corner a little bit while you push it down. But by using tape, like I had mentioned earlier, that way you'll know that when you go to put it on, you know exactly where it has to be placed to avoid any issues like this. This is an okay issue. If you go too far, then you're in trouble. But you just pull in the corner a little bit and push with your finger. And that just stretches it just enough to do what it's got to do. And then you push it down. Okay, now that you have the door sill protector all on, now we have to get the transfer tape off. I always go over it a little more, make sure it's really stuck down to the vehicle, because you don't want it to come up at all while you are peeling the transfer tape off. These corners are really important, and along all these little details. Just make it really good. Bottom. Okay, now we're going to start taking the transfer tape off. Now to do that, you can start right down here in one of these corners. And you just grab a piece of that transfer tape and slowly roll it back. Now when you get to the door sill protector, you want to make sure that you peel it back nice and slow and that they are separating. And you want to make sure you keep pulling it back straight like this, because if you try pulling it up, it will have a tendency to try and pull the door sill protector off the vehicle. And by going like this, it's separating them. You just go nice and slow, making sure not to peel anything up. And this again, take your time, no rush. Because as quick as they went down, pulling this the wrong way can give you a bubble. Work back and forth. Try and work it back evenly like this as well, going back this way. Nice and slow. Almost as entertaining as watching paint dry. Okay, now we get to the more details. Slow down and pay attention. You can kind of work it back and forth a little slower to make sure that you're not picking anything up that you don't want. Little small details like this. Yep. Just keep slowly pulling it back. Alright. Get down to the end, same thing. Make sure you go slow around the details. Pull it off nice and slow. Blocking here. And then when it pulled up, I pulled it straight up instead of pulling it out, and that's what can happen. There, now it's down. And that is one door sill protector installed.